Welcome back, everybody. Myco Head Grower here. It's time for the ladies to get some water and feeding. So I figured I'd go over that, show you what nutrients I use and dosage rates and things of that nature. I already tried starting this video once and already fed 4 milliliters per gallon of Dynagrow Protect, which normally I'd be using Botanicare Silica Blast, but I ran out last week and have yet to pick up some more. But otherwise, every other product that I will be using is from Botanicare's nutrient line. And most importantly, I always make sure I add silica first, because silica mixed with other nutrients, or let me put it this way, if you were to add your base nutrient and then silica at that point, sometimes depending on that base nutrient, it can actually cause the silica to kind of chunk up and kind of form globs throughout your reservoir, and I think that makes it so that the silica is no longer effective. And for anybody who may not know what silica does for your plants, basically it strengthens the plant's cell wall, and as a result makes it resistant to PM actually, and also resistant to drought and heat, and just overall, you know, makes the plants more hardy. So it's definitely a good product, and I highly recommend to use it pretty much no matter, you know, what nutrient line you're using and what silica product you use. They're basically all the same. Okay, now moving on. So the next additive that I'm going to add is Botanicare's Vitamino, and this is actually going to be the last time that I'm going to be feeding Vitamino to this garden, basically because you want to make sure that your plants have a sufficient amount of amino acids as you're going into and through the middle of flower, and then from what I understand, beyond that point, it's not quite as necessary. Anybody can correct me if I'm wrong on that, and I do know that this product isn't exactly included in the feeding schedule for PureBlend Pro, which is the base nutrient that I'm using, but so far, I mean, I've had all pretty good results, no negative response, and I'm sure it's nothing but beneficial to the plants. And all of the amounts that I'll be adding here is just going to be milliliters per gallon. I have a 32-gallon reservoir here, and but I figured just for the sake of simplicity, I'll do it in just milliliters per gallon. And Vitamino, as we shake her up real good, Vitamino, we're going to be feeding at 4 milliliters per gallon. We always want to make sure that we rinse out our measuring cup after each dose, just because you could end up with a similar effect to what I was talking about with the silica mixing with base nutrients. And that's why you'll see on a lot of nutrient bottles it says to make sure that you are mixing all of your nutrients and additives into water and not mixing nutrients together. The next product that I'll be adding is CalMag Plus, which is also obviously a Botanicare product. I was thinking about maybe adding a little bit more CalMag into this feeding schedule, because I've been noticing a little bit of yellowing going on, but on second thought I don't think I'm going to, just because of the fact that CalMag Plus is actually the NPK ratio is actually 2:0:0, which of course means that it's got 2% nitrogen, and of course you want to make sure that you're careful on the amount of nitrogen that you're adding in. So basically, we're gonna add the regular 4 milliliters per gallon, and that should do the trick and shouldn't see too much more yellowing going on up until, you know, the last couple of weeks of harvest when it's expected. So we'll go ahead and shake her up. Now I always like buying all my nutrients in the gallon jugs, but the one pain in the ass is, you know, measuring out your dose. But either way, what you save, I think, is definitely worth it. Okay, and moving on, the next product we'll be adding is AquaShield, which some of you may know is basically just a compost solution of a sort. The recommended dose, I believe it says on the bottle, is 5 to 10 milliliters per gallon, and with this feeding schedule, it's pretty much 8 milliliters per gallon all the way through. And this is just, you know, just another one of those supplements. Trying to think of another product that I could compare it to. But either way, I actually like to use this on my clones when they're freshly rooted, and I actually have seen a pretty good influence from this product. So, like I said, 8 milliliters per gallon. Give it a good rinse. And just another quick thing to mention, besides the note that I made about silica and adding it first, I'm not too much of a stickler about the order of which I add my nutrients, but I do tend to get, you know, all the non-dark nutrients added first. And the only reason why I do this is just because, you know, I've seen other people do it, so I guess I'm a little bit of a follower in that aspect. Okay, so the next product here would be Hydroplex, which this product is a flowering only product. It's actually quite popular amongst all the nutrient lines, and see if you can see here, has an NPK of, I can't read backwards, but 0.106, so obviously it's a high phosphorus. And with a 0.106, that's pretty much right on the limit. If you're using any you know, any beneficials, you know, any myco related beneficials, you want to actually keep your phosphorus around 10 and below. Anything higher than that, and you could actually run the risk of essentially locking those beneficials out, you know, in an organic setting. This product is probably comparable to, I want to say, like Bud Factor X. I could be wrong there, but because I'm not exactly a huge advanced fan. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with advanced, but I don't have a whole lot of experience with advanced. But and this product is only at 3 milliliters per gallon. Okay, now we are moving on to the dark nutrients and additives, and first of which will be Sweet Raw, which is essentially a catalyst that enhances flavor and aromas. This is my first time using this product. We'll see how it goes. So far, I think, well, this will be the 4th week of using it, and you know, no overwhelming odors in the shed. Everything definitely has, you know, a nice aroma to it, but you know, we'll see as we near the end of flower how big of a difference this product makes. And this product is also at 8 milliliters per gallon. As I was just dumping in the measured amount of Sweet Raw, it made me think of something, or reminded me of something. As you know, I just want to warn everybody, which this may have happened to other growers before, but when you're dumping nutrients into your reservoir, you want to be a little careful. I mean, I'm not going to go as far as say that you might want to wear safety glasses, but the other day, or it was like a week ago, I was feeding the ladies and I dumped in some CalMag, and as it splashed into the reservoir, it actually ended up kind of splashing back, and a big old droplet of water mixed with CalMag ended up squirting me right in the eyeball, and that was not the most pleasant thing to have happen. And yeah, be careful there. Next product we'll be using is Liquid Karma. And Liquid Karma, this is a favorite amongst all growers. It's all organic. It's got, you know, organic beneficials, also a fulvic acid and humic acid product, which I know that a lot of nutrients or nutrient lines split up those two products. For instance, Advanced Nutrients splits up those two products. For instance, I think H2 is the humic acid, and can't remember the name, but anyways, Liquid Karma is also another product that's good to use for clones especially, but also is great to use all throughout the growing cycle. And as you can see here, this is an actual organic product. As you can see, it's got a very low NPK ratio. And you know, you can use this, like I was saying, all throughout the growth cycle, but as you get into flower, you pretty much want to cut your dose in half, actually. And for instance, in the veg cycle, I give 8 milliliters per gallon, and right now we'll be feeding 4 milliliters per gallon. Liquid Karma is probably one of the slightly more expensive products. Hydroplex is definitely the most expensive product that I'm using here. But even at, you know, I think it's, gosh, 70 bucks a gallon, 80 bucks a gallon, and Liquid Karma is right about there, 70 bucks a gallon. But Liquid Karma is definitely one that is worth it from top to bottom. And like I said, it's good to have around pretty much for any stage of growth. And in fact, which reminds me about something else too, that when, you know, this goes for pretty much all soil growers, whether it be all organic, like a super soil mix, or anything otherwise. But I always take 1 tablespoon of Liquid Karma, mix it with 1 gallon of dechlorinated water, and I kind of, you know, moisten my soil mix before I transplant. And, you know, as many of you may know, that, you know, you might get a brick of Pro Mix or Sunshine Advanced or whatever you may use, you know, Roots Organic, whatever, and it you know, it may be a little overly dried, and you know, you always want to moisten it up a little bit. But Liquid Karma actually helps to get, you know, all those beneficials activated in the soil, and, you know, kind of pre-charges the soil. And pretty much no matter what, I always add it to my soil in that manner before I transplant. And I think I mentioned before in another video that, you know, my main way of growing for the last, gosh, maybe for the last year, 2 years, probably up to 2 years, I've used a super soil type of mix, and always worked very well for me. So don't get me wrong, is definitely a proven way to grow. As you know, you guys could check out Subcool. I think Subcool's YouTube username is Subcool420, and just use the keyword super soil, and you will find all kinds of great information. And in fact, in another video, I will even maybe even when I post this video, I'll make a link for a good super soil type recipe. It's, you know, it's not identical to Subcool super soil, but basically the exact same concept. Okay, so moving on. Now going to be adding the base nutrient, which is PureBlend. I can never say that damn word. PureBlend Pro Bloom for cocoa and soil, which has a 145, hope you can see that, 145 NPK. And this product also has your fulvic and humic acids, like I was saying, which makes it so that you don't have to add any more aside from Liquid Karma. And even though Liquid Karma also has those components to it, it's, you know, either way, it's a good nutrient to add, I should say. And right now we're going to be feeding the base nutrient PureBlend Pro Bloom at 12 milliliters per gallon. As you can tell, one thing about the Botanicare line is that basically all of the nutrients are all, you know, fairly low dosage rates, and the cost of the nutrients is actually very reasonable. And so far, I highly recommend them. Okay, so the last thing that we're going to do before I actually get to the watering, which I'm not going to film because that'd just be boring, going to check the pH. So I'm going to stir this up real quick. The instrument that I use to check my pH, I highly recommend, as well as many other growers would. It's the Blue Lab combo meter. Very dependable. A little bit highly priced. I think I paid, oh gosh, maybe 150 bucks up to 200 bucks. But very dependable. The pH probe, I believe, is rated for 5 years. Could be wrong, but calibration is very easy, and even when I've used it for a month and I go to calibrate it, it's pretty much spot on. But not only does it check pH, it also checks EC and ppm, which of course with, you know, checking ppms with organic soil is, organic nutrients is slightly redundant, but you still have a little bit of a guideline that you can follow. So I will check that as well while we're at it. So right off the bat, our pH is at 6.1. And if we were growing cocoa, that would be pretty much right on the money. But even with soil, I mean, realistically, it is close enough. I am going to raise it up a little bit, maybe get up closer to like 6.3, which is about what I shoot for. 6.2, 6.3 I can live with. And like I said, 6.1 is pretty much good, but you know, I guess it's just one of those, you know, I guess compulsive things that I have. And yeah, what I use to adjust my pH, use the Mad Farmer product, Get Up, and it's a fairly cheap product and works pretty well. And I really will probably only have to add maybe 5 milliliters to get that reservoir where I want it. But don't mark my words on that. Okay, and now we'll check our EC first. And just a reminder, basically this is almost just for fun. When using organic newts, it's kind of redundant. Okay, and our EC was right at 2.2, which is actually quite a bit higher than I thought it would be, because I think the last time I mixed up the exact same schedule, I think it was right at 2.0 or 1.9. I can't remember, but either way, slightly interesting. And now we'll check our ppms. Our parts per million measured in at 1080, which yet again is a little higher than I thought it would be. It's usually the organic newts in this schedule Usually I'd be around about 800, 900. But like I said, the organics, it's very hard to determine exactly where that should be. So that about wraps up this video. Sorry if that was a little bit boring, but just kind of wanted to show you guys how I do things. I'm not even going to bother pHing on video, but yeah, I will get a link up to, it's actually going to be off of a message board, IC map, that will have a super soil type recipe. And like I was saying, that's the way I used to grow for, you know, pretty good amount of time and had some very good results with it. And you know, not only did I want to try to improve my results, not that I was having poor results, but you know, not only did I want to improve my results, but I will be honest, you know, the super soil kind of technique, just adding water, you know, it gets a little boring. I mean, not that I want to create more work for myself, but you know, at the end of the day, you know, I love growing. It's definitely my favorite hobby, and yeah, I guess it just kind of makes it a little bit more fun and interesting, which goes to show, you know, the KISS method, keep it simple, stupid. You know, you have, you know, take that story for instance. I grew, you know, using an all organic, just add water mix for a couple of years, had great results. I mean, in fact, amazing results, just adding water. And now I go and use a liquid nutrient line. Not that I've had any problems yet, which, knock on wood, hopefully I don't, but you know, I don't know if all you guys know this, but when you use a super soil method, it's very, very hard to burn your plants. Pretty much the only way you can is if you, you know, plant very young seedlings straight into a, you know, a hot and activated organic mix. Another benefit to using a super soil type of mix is that you don't really have to worry about pHing your water before you water your plants, as the organic soil actually acts as a bit of a natural buffer. But of course you also want to add in lime, which will, you know, not only add in calcium and magnesium, but it will also act as a pH buffer to your soil, just to kind of make sure. But anyways, that about wraps it up for now. Probably getting a little lengthy on this video, but just wanted to go over that. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, please subscribe, and I thank you for watching.